Hey guys, it's Matthew here once again, and today I've got all kinds of boss kills to show you for the Lowlife Essence Drain character that's also using a Delirium weapon, as well as a Consuming Dark for both Delirium and Poison damage. So I'll start off by showing you the full potential of DPS, more or less, against Shaper. This is with a 6 link, and my maximum amount of DPS, something like 47,000 dot. With the totem down, and when you get the spam just non-stop with all of your flasks up, the damage is actually quite insane and very strong. And I wouldn't expect to get too used to this because delirium weapons may not be around forever, or they may be nerfed, for example. But the 6-link DPS here is quite substantial, and the rest of the video goes over Shaper, Guardians, and Atziri all on 5 links, because that's what I initially did all of my kills on with a 5 link, just to see if it was okay and how it'd actually compare with the 6 link later on. So all the kills for the rest of the video are on 5 link and is perfectly adequate on a 5 link, but that said, if you want to do the low life version just like me, you will at least need a Shavs, which runs something like 5 exalts. So there's your starting point. So first up we have the Hydra, and this is, like I said, on a 5 link. It's a pretty smooth fight on this character because Temp Chains is rather nice for Hydra himself or herself, just to slow it down a bit, and you more or less just have to put up 1 dot while you run around in circles, since poison itself doesn't actually do anything. So for both the Hydra and Chimera fight, if you really want to go all out, swap your Consuming Dark and put on a shield, so you gain about 4,000 energy shield, something like that, and it'll be far safer, but I didn't really feel the need to do that, so I'm still dual wielding, face tanking a few things here or there, but for the most part, it's just cast an Essence Drain every now and again, try and keep the Wither Totem down as much as possible, and dodge everything. And on a 5 link, the DPS is actually quite impressive, at least to me. Most poison immune, or most characters that rely on some sort of poison, have fair amount of trouble on Hydra, or at least it takes a while, whereas this character only took something like a minute or 2 minutes to kill, and I've done plenty of kills even with Enfeeble and other such things hindering my DPS, and it's not really a problem. Hydra is fairly straightforward, and you can kill the ads rather easily, especially with the Temp Chains slowing them down rather effectively, as you can see there. So Hydra, probably, I would have to say, one of the easiest Guardians for this build. It's not the fastest thing in the world, but it does get it down fairly reliably and quick enough for my liking. Next up is the Chimera fight. Now this is actually a really good character for Chimera, as it turns out. It's not the greatest for the smoke phase because you can't really do too much against the smoke phase except for just dive around, hope to avoid some attacks and find them ASAP. And once again, if you really want, you should put on a shield here and you'd be far safer against it. But as you can see, the empowered Temp Chains I have here, which is basically just Temp Chains, Blasphemy with the Temp Chains Helm Enchant, really slows down the ads so dramatically that it becomes quite easy to avoid all of their attacks and kill them rather quickly because the DPS is not at all bad against them. So Chimera is once again poison immune, not really doing too much damage there with the consuming at all, but keep the Wither Totem down, that's going to be his main focus for DPS for the most part, and then you just throw around a few Essence Drains, and I'm self-casting, actually not yet I'm not, in the future I do self-cast Vulnerability, as well as having it on my Stib Knight. So the Stib Knight with Flask nodes will give you something like 80% increased damage over time, as well as a Vulnerability up, which is convenient for quite a lot of things, so I do recommend the Stib Knight still, even if you're using probably even if you're using Blasphemy Vulnerability, but for the most part I'm just self-casting Vulnerability on heavy single targets, just not yet at this point in the video because I didn't quite feel I needed to. But as you can see, we're taking care of ads pretty smoothly, and the Temp Chains really does bend them over quite nicely. And Chimera dies rather fast, and I have done some of the most insane Chimera maps on this character because, I don't know, it just seems to be okay with the playstyle of throw a dot and stay as far away from him as possible if you need to. This one wasn't particularly tough, so I do take a lot of his damage, and he dies rather quickly, but the main thing is it's fairly safe against it. So you can do a lot of running around and surviving, and it's really Probably one of the better characters I've ever played for the Chimera fight. Still rather annoying because you have to go through all the ad phases, but very much doable. As you can see, it's rather smooth. Rarely, if ever, do you get a chance to throw a Vile Lightning Trap. When you do, then damage is increased quite substantially, as you can tell. Uh, for the Minotaur, you do get a chance to throw Vile Lightning Traps every now and again. This one had a few damage mods, so I couldn't really face tank that hard. For the most part, you're not really going to be face tanking Minotaur. You do want to just shoot a few times, move, let him do his burrow, drop a Wither Totem, shoot a few more times, and just you're going to have to kite him just a little bit, because he's often going to be targeting your Wither Totem with his burrow. He's often going to be just doing too much damage for you to stand there and face tank. For the most part, though, he dies pretty damn quick. This is, once again, like I said, on a 5-link, and it's decent DPS at this stage. The 6th link, of course, does add another 30% in the form of slower Proj. Phoenix, once again, also rather straightforward. The DPS is pretty good. You should get a chance to throw down a Vile Lightning Trap once or twice and do a really strong DPS there too. Phoenixes die rather comfortably as well. Just got to throw out a Contagion and Essence Drain on them and they'll die. So you're going to have to do that fairly routinely as they do respawn. Wither Totem's very nice for slowing down the Phoenix himself, and he dies rather quickly in ideal situations, but you're going to have to dodge pretty much everything because you can't do too much face tank. He certainly does hurt. This may even be a 6-link attempt here. I can't quite see it on the screen. But yeah, I did take care of everything with a 5-link, and I really didn't notice that much difference when I did put on a 6-link eventually. It is just, of course, min-maxing. I went from something like 37k dot damage to 47k, so it is substantial, but I still think it was very smooth on a 5-link, and a 6-link is by no means necessary for this build to shine with a Delirium. I believe this is my first Atziri attempt on this character, and once again, DPS is very smooth, survivability was pretty smooth too. On a 5-link, it yeah, took care of business for the most part. Delirium, very much noticeable from the previous character I played, the Essence Drain character I played against Atziri. It certainly makes a difference on the single target. And the trash is probably actually the hardest part of the entire zone, just having to get the right amount of cascades onto, or Contagion Essence Drains onto the trash. But it does die fairly quickly, especially once you get into 6-link territory. I guess the trio can be rather dangerous, especially when you mess it up, which I did not do this run, I think. I don't think the run was deathless, though, from memory. I did die maybe once or twice, but playing well enough, you very certainly can do deathless Atziri runs pretty much all day long. I just opt for a more ballsier playstyle for the most part. Yeah, all of these guys die pretty quickly. Contagion Essence Drain takes care of the ads rather efficiently, and you can pretty much face tank most of these guys anyway. At least that guy you certainly can. Atziri herself, not at all a problem. Your blasphemies are taking care of business quite a lot, and the ads, or the split phase, dies pretty much immediately. I think I messed it up here even, and still get away with a decent enough kill. Yeah, essentially one Essence Drain will kill the ad that you attack, but you may have to run around a bit if you don't set up your Vile Lightning Trap or a Wither Totem just right on time. If you do, then they'll die even faster, and you won't really have to do any running around whatsoever. And as well, you can attack any one of those ads except for the one with the blue armband, which is shock immune, because then your Vile Lightning Trap won't shock it and you won't get 50% extra damage. It's not terribly important because you can still do it without shock, as I've done many times, but for the smoothest, easiest kill, the Vile Lightning Trap does help quite a lot. So that takes care of all of those guys, and all that's left is Shaper. My first Shaper kill, I think I died twice maybe, but I've done several deathless runs since then, once on a 5-link and then a few times on the 6-link. The only real issue with the 5-link is doing the ads is a little bit harder. It's still very doable because I did do it, but the 6th link really makes ad killing a lot smoother. You always have to keep your Wither Totem down, and you more or less have to contagion them as they're coming out, you're going to need to use your Stibnite Flask, your Witchfire, so that they're getting vulnerability as they come out, and then just spam Essence Drain. You can actually see Profane Bloom, the Occultist passive, doing quite a bit of work here. Whenever you kill one of the ads and Profane Bloom goes off, then the other ads die. It hits really hard, so it's kind of helps you to clean up the ads when you're falling behind on killing them. And I'm not sure how well a Scion or a Trickster would do compared to this, because it was kind of a crutch for me. It really did help out. But like I said, you definitely want to keep your Wither Totem down. Your poison damage and your damage over time, chaos damage over time, is hugely multiplied when you have Wither Totem stacking, so make sure that's happening. And it also helps just slow him down a bit, so he's not running around as much and doing various shenanigans. You can also keep Wither Totem down inside the bubble, and that'll help slow him down there too at all times. And for the most part, it's fairly smooth and rather simple, or at least as simple as it can probably get for a Shaper fight. It's, I'd say, some of the smoothest Shaper kills I've had, barring of course Blade Vortex, because I haven't played that, but this certainly won't be as face roll as a Blade Vortex character. You can see I do have a self-cast vulnerability at this point, so I'm doing that whenever I feel like I need to have vulnerability without using the Stibnite Flask, because the Stibnite Flask is rather valuable on this one. Apparently I did not get out of that slam in time, so that's something else I need to mention. The slam itself, you won't be able to dodge just by whirling once or twice, because it's just not fast enough unless you have much more whirling speed than I do. You definitely need to start running and be on the move, and as soon as he goes for slam, then whirl. So yeah, that was the other death I had to kind of bullshit, but yeah, it's okay. Anyway, this has pretty much been all of the kills for the Essence Drain character. It's taken care of all the content rather smoothly. It's been very fun to play. I'll probably put up a guide video exactly how to build this character next video, hopefully coming tomorrow. For now, hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.